Moin, what's going on, everyone? Here we have a video about Kurt Landauer and him being rediscovered by the fans. This is a counterpoint to one of the videos that we watched about ultras and that culture and how there's a lot of different aspects to ultras and football clubs. And Kurt Landauer was he was the president of FC Bayern Munich for, I think, over 40 years. Interestingly, he was arrested by the Nazis in 1938 as he was Jewish. He was sent to Dachau and released after 33 days. I guess because of his prior military service. He then went to Switzerland until after the war, or some point after the war. I think he went back to Germany. But he was a steward, I guess, for the football culture of Bayern Munich, and should be an interesting video. I'm excited to kind of delve into it and see what is of interest. If you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get to it, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day.
Today, Bayern Munich is one of the world's biggest clubs.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always that way.
Bayern Munich is one of those clubs that even I recognize, and this is somebody who does not follow football in the slightest, and I still recognize the name. It's one of those big teams.
It's a history of exclusion and all sorts of terrible crimes. I think we look at it as part of the club's history.
32-year-old Simon Müller is the head of the Bayern Munich fan club Schickeria, one of the most important groups of its kind in Germany.
There are around 180 people in the fan club, but there's tons of people around us who follow what we write, come to our meetings and things.
When he refers to the fan club, is this like comparable to the ultras? Because 180 people didn't seem like very much, but I don't know if it's like 180 like official members, and then there's just also the big fans of the club as well that follow them around.
The fan club's latest project is to honor Bayern's former president Kurt Landauer, who was Jewish.
Kurt Landauer.
What's choreography? Choreography is when the supporters block produces an image. You can use pieces of paper, sheets of plastic, banners, or strips of fabric. Out of lots of little individual parts, we create a picture that stretches across the entire block.
Was dann halt über die ganze Kurve erstrahlt.
Die 36. Minute, es herrscht eine unheimliche Stille im Stadion.
Die magst du, komm bitte!
Ossi Rohr, der Bayern-Stürmer, schaut auf den Ball. Rohr läuft an, Schuss! Tor! Ja! Der Ball ist drin! Rohr steht in einer Staubbeutel, so hat ihn reingetroffen. Die Bayern führen 1:0.
Kurt Landauer's story is also being told in a TV docudrama. In 1932, under his presidency, underdogs Bayern won their first German championship. 82 years later, in Munich's Jewish Museum, Uri Siegel is inspecting an exhibit about Landauer, who was his uncle. Siegel carefully preserved the few artifacts Landauer left him after his death.
60.000 Menschen trotzen einer unmenschlichen Bruthitze hier in Nürnberg. Und da, ich sehe, Conny Heidkamp, den Bayern-Kapitän, ich sehe.
In 1938, the Nazis sent Landauer to Dachau concentration camp, but he was able to escape to Switzerland. In 1947, he returned to Germany with a ticket for America in his pocket. But he stayed in Munich, helping to build a new stadium for Bayern and get league licenses for all of Munich's clubs.
Jesus, Maria und Josef. Jetzt kommt er einfach da reinmarschiert, als wenn nichts gewesen wäre. Das gibt's ja nicht. Der Landschi.
Soll ich wieder gehen?
Na, ich glaube ja nicht, dass ich die wieder auslasse. Ja, was ist? Empfangt ihr so den Präsidenten vom FC Bayern?
Das gibt's ja nicht.
Da, schaut dir das an.
So it seems like a pretty incredible man, pretty incredible story, and what he endured. And to be president at a tenure of that many years is pretty remarkable.
Ich finde, der Film, der macht diese ganze Geschichte.
I think the film allows you to grasp the whole story. It's very palpable. Before, all we had were 2 or 3 photos of Kurt Landauer. People knew his story. It was retold at various events, and people were always writing about it. But now you can see his story with your own eyes. I found that very interesting.
After the war, Landauer even rebuilt bridges with pro-Nazi rivals 1860 Munich.
So, mei. Wenn die feinen Herrschaften schon am Schwächeln sind, dann sind doch wir früh genug da, oder?
Also gut, Ihren Platz und mir die Tribüne.
Andersrum.
Andersrum.
It must have been a really interesting time, like after World War II ended, and just the transition as a society from, you know, the Nazi Party having so much influence and power over the country, and then just the fallout and the aftermath and the ripples through time that reverberated after that.
Landauer convinced the occupying U.S. authorities to license Munich's clubs. And the German First Division was back in action.
On the occasion of Landauer's 125th birthday, the Church of Reconciliation in Dachau invited us and official club representatives Fritz Scherer and Karl-Heinz Rummenigge to a memorial event. That was the first time that the club dealt so directly with this topic or staked out an official position.
That was just 5 years ago. Today, Bayern are keen to highlight their roots.
A lot of our players have read up on the history of Bayern Munich. It's especially nice that in retrospect, Kurt Landauer is a person that Bayern can be proud of. Back then, the club was rejected as a Jews' club, which was, of course, extremely problematic at the time. But it makes Landauer as a person all the more valuable for Bayern Munich.
Eberhard Schulz is a member of the Church of Reconciliation. He's followed Bayern for years and says Landauer's birthday celebration was the turning point.
It was the trigger for people and groups to celebrate the man. When the fans in the stadium do something and the TV cameras film it, the whole country takes notice.
I got chills right there. Whew.
I think it sends a double message. The fans take a stand in their own stadium, vis-à-vis their own club, and say, this is important. This man was important, and it's important that he was Jewish. It's important that he not be forgotten. I think that's great.
For his role, Simon Müller was awarded the German Football Association's Julius Hirsch Prize for contributions to tolerance and humanity.
Simon Müller, Schickeria, München.
You can see the fruits of our labor when there's a cool atmosphere in the fan block and everyone feels welcome, when there's as little discrimination as possible.
That's fantastic, because there's also the pendulum of that, which is some of the darker sides of fanaticism and, you know, ultras and these fan bases that can get a little bit too... It's not that they're too invested or too involved, it's that they become, especially in a group sometimes, things can take a turn for the worst. You know, just a totally a side story, but I don't know if anybody watching this video is aware of the 2011 Stanley Cup riots, which happened in Vancouver, British Columbia, which were an absolute dark spot on the history of the city and the province, and was seen and heard about all around the world, and just a point of embarrassment and shame, really, for the city. And it's when bad faith actors get in there and kind of start issues. And there was a lot of property damage, a lot of assaults, a lot of vehicles flipped, burned. It was really, really scary and really, really bad. And you just hope that things like that won't happen again, but they still get brought up very often. Anyways, Kurt Landauer, amazing man, amazing story, it looks like to me. That was super interesting, about how the interweaving stories of the political side of things with the war and the Nazis and FC Bayern Munich and what he had to do to kind of overcome some of those obstacles. Very cool stuff. All right, tschüss and auf Wiedersehen. We'll see you on the next video. Like I said, there is a link in the description if you do want to send me stuff. One of you guys did send me this, and I really do appreciate it. All right.